It's here. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. It's here. Hey guys, it's Katrina. Welcome to my channel, and as you can see, I just received Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard. It was on my front door when I got home. It just came out today. I'm hoping to read it by Friday since I am going to go to the Victoria Aveyard book signing with Kristen in Bethesda, and I can't wait to dive into this book. So hopefully I film my recent reads, which this video is, very quickly so I can start reading. Last month I did a whole January wrap-up where I read 12 books, and I had to kind of fly through it because there were so many books. So I'm hoping to start doing recent reads. I know usually it's like multiples of 5, like you do 1 through 5 or whatever. But because I read 12 last month and I had to make it even, I waited until I read 20 books total for this year. So this time I have 8 books, but hopefully after this it'll be 5 books at a time. So right now this is books 13 through 20 of the books I've read so far this year. I will go in the order that I read the books. I will give my Goodreads rating, and we'll go from there. The first book I completed this month, I actually started it in January but finished it in February, was Hollow City, which is the second novel of Miss Peregrine's Peculiar Children. If you saw my January wrap-up, you heard me talk about the first one, how I was kind of disappointed because it wasn't as creepy as I wanted it to be. But now that I've kind of gone past it's not going to be creepy, I've accepted it for the story that it is, and I'm still really, really enjoying it. So my Goodreads ratings for it was 4 out of 5 stars. As I was reading the story and accepting it and loving the story for what it was, not being creepy, of course, spoiler alert, a picture comes up of a freaking clown. I am so scared of clowns, like completely terrified. So I was sitting there reading the book, my arm on the picture, trying to finish that page as quickly as I could. I will say that it creeped me out a little bit, just because it had the picture of the clown. But other than that, I'm still loving the story. The whole being set during World War II, it's kind of helping me get into historical fiction a little bit more since I don't usually read any kind of historical fiction. So it still has that fantasy aspect. But like I said, 4 out of 5. I'm still enjoying it. I still have 1 more to go, and hopefully I'll pick it up this month. I believe it's Library of Souls is the 3rd book and final book of the trilogy. Next, I read Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. This is my first Rainbow Rowell book that I've ever read. I don't usually read contemporary. I'm trying to start getting into young adult contemporary, so I thought this would be a pretty good start. I actually really, really enjoyed it. I wasn't like completely in love, but I think that's because I'm still trying to get used to the genre. So I did give it a 4 out of 5 stars on my Goodreads. I am very lenient with my ratings, so most of my stars that I give and reviews that I give on Goodreads is usually between 4 and 5. I'm gonna try to be more particular, but I'm pretty easy to please when it comes to reading. So Eleanor and Park is about, what it says here is, 2 misfits, 1 extraordinary love. The reason why I don't go too in-depth about the books in these is I feel like I'm gonna give away a spoiler. I'm gonna try to do better about explaining the books without giving anything away. But just for the recent reads, or I guess wrap-ups or anything like that, I'm just gonna go with I either liked it, I didn't like it, or I thought it was okay. Give me my rating, and maybe if I have some stronger feelings about a book, I'll try to do more in-depth review separately. 4 out of 5 stars, would recommend. I do want to pick up more Rainbow Rowell books in the future. Next, I read The Giver by Lewis Lowry. This one was a little tough because I did watch the movie before the book, and I try not to do that, but I watched The Giver a while back. My friend Amanda actually, who's a teacher, is reading The Giver for a class, and she told me that I need to read it. So I read it. I really did like it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I feel like I would have maybe rated it higher if I read it before the movie, but these are one of the rare instances where I actually kind of like the movie more than the book. I don't know how many times I've ever said that in my life. It was rough because I feel like the movie lets you experience those senses a little more than the book gave. I'm trying not to give too many details, but things like the colors and the music in the movie, it just made you feel more than I think the book did. But then again, I could be wrong. It might be because I read the book after the movie. The next book I read was All the Birds in the Sky by C.J. Anders. I don't have the book with me because I listened to it on audiobook. I'm trying to formulate my thoughts on this book because It was sci-fi, it was dystopian, it was adult, I believe, not young adult. And I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't really like anything I read before. It had all the same elements of those genres, but the way it was written, it was more slow paced than I'm used to. But I don't know if it was the writing style or what it was. I just really enjoyed it. I don't think it would be for everyone, so I don't know if I would just, hey guys, everyone go read it. I think read the synopsis, see how you feel about it. It's taken from two different perspectives. There's a girl and a guy, and it starts when they're younger, but the majority of the story is when they're older. It's pretty much a science versus magic kind of thing, and I thought it was really weird, but I actually really enjoyed it. So 4 out of 5 stars for All the Birds in the Sky. Next I have here Mockingbird by Catherine Erskine. This was a pretty quick read. I mentioned this in my newbie tag video when I did the used book haul. This book is told from the perspective of a girl named Caitlin who has Asperger's. I really felt for this book. It hit me a lot harder than I thought it would. It is, I think, a children's book, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to give too much away because it says it right here on the back of the book. It's not really a spoiler. So a girl with Asperger's, and she's going through mourning right now because her brother just died in a school shooting. And I was just not expecting such a deep and thoughtful book. I had to like stop a couple times so I wouldn't cry, and I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. This next book I talked about in my last video because my last video was the Alexandra Bracken signing vlog. Oh my goodness, I read Passenger. It is my first Alexandra Bracken book, and I loved it, like completely loved it. And I don't know if I was just being biased because I fell in love with the author when I met her. 5 out of 5 stars. Hands down, loved it. There's time travel, so there's some historical fiction put in there. 2 point of views, one from a girl named Etta, who is kind of from our time period, and a guy named Nicholas, who is from the past. And, oh my god, Nicholas. Oh, this book is so good. Would recommend. Next I have Curl Crown by Victoria Aveyard. I wanted to finish this quickly because I knew that I was going to get Glass Sword today, so I kind of sped through this. It is 2 novellas in the Red Queen series. They're 2 short stories that are kind of like prequels. The first one was Queen Song, and the second one was Steel Cars. I gave the book as a whole 4 out of 5 stars. I did like one story more than the other. I really did like Queen Song, which was from the perspective of Cal's mom, Corianne. That one was really interesting. Steel Cars, which was in the perspective of Captain Farley, if you guys have read Red Queen, which I do recommend you guys reading. That one dragged a little bit for me. I kind of liked the second that. Okay, so the last book in my recent reads is a book that I've been meaning to start since I was in undergrad, when one of my roommates introduced the books to me because she got a tattoo from the books, and that is City of Bones from the Mortal Instrument series. She actually got the rune for strength, I believe. It was really cool. And she was explaining the book to me, and I always wanted to read it, and I just never got the chance. So I finally read City of Bones. 5 out of 5 stars. I don't know what else to say. You guys have probably all read this series before. I really liked it. This is another one. Oh, that's 2 in one video. I actually watched the movie a while ago, and I thought it was like okay, and I think that's what put me off from reading the book. But since it's been so long since I saw the movie and I couldn't remember any of the details, I went ahead and read the book. I was still shocked by some of the stuff. I can't wait to read the rest. My husband actually found the first 3 books, that's somewhere back there, the first 3 books in the series at a Goodwill store, and they were like $2 each, and they're in great condition. So I'm hoping to keep reading these, finish this series up. I loved it. I don't know. That's all I have to say. I feel like the books that are more popular that everyone talks about, I don't really have to give a description about. Everything's out. I want to try to marathon it, read all the books. Hopefully start the Shadowhunter show. I don't know how I'm going to feel about it, but since I read the first book, I feel comfortable starting to watch the show. I know there's like 4 episodes out. Thank you guys so much for watching my recent reads. Please like the video, comment. I love to talk to you guys, and subscribe.